Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Sunday, August 20th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. Yes, it is me. I have not quit. It's Jeremy Pierce. Welcome, one and all. As always, you know you can check me out on the socials. Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram with a 215 on Twitter, spelled out. Don't forget the Coffee and Patreon pages as well. So first things first, I'm having some technical difficulties. So the next probably week or two are going to be really stripped back. I'm having some issues with something, and I need to get it worked out as soon as possible. It's kind of putting me on the verge of tears, actually. I'm hoping to get it all worked out, but still going to bring you a show. They'll just be maybe a little bit late and definitely stripped back. But today's show, Impact Wrestling, the real Forbidden Door. I'm actually going to the Impact New Japan show tonight, which starts in a couple hours, actually. Multiverse United 2, for whom the bell tolls, at the legendary 2300 Arena. And listen, for all the talk about the Forbidden Door, we really forget just how important and just how much work Impact has been doing with the Forbidden Door. But we're going to get into that a little bit later. But for now, you know what's next, so just go on and hit my music. Now, you know, we get it going with the list, and this list right here for this episode is, for me, the 5 best Impact Forbidden Door moments. And number 5, we got to go with the Triple Revolver match. Now, if you don't know what the Triple Revolver is, the Triple Revolver match is essentially a triple threat gauntlet match. So we start with the triple threat match, and then once one person gets eliminated, someone else comes on, so on and so forth, until we have a winner. The second triple Revolver took place at Victory Road 2022, and it featured wrestlers from AEW, Impact, New Japan, and AAA. So for for Impact, we had Kenny King, Trey Miguel, and Mia Yim. From AAA, we had Laredo Kid and Black Taurus. From New Japan, we had Alexander and Yuya Uemura, and from AEW, we had Frankie Kazarian. Now, look what a year makes. Frankie Kazarian is back in Impact. Mia Yim is in the WWE, and Black Taurus and Yuya Uemura are now both a part of the Impact roster. But this was fun. It was a fun event, fun moment. Number 4, Jonah versus Okada. Now, yes, the man known as Bronson Reed had a nice little stint, albeit not very long, in Impact Wrestling, and he was going by Jonah. He was part of TMDK with Bad Dude Tito and Shane Hayes, who you may remember as Shane Thorne, also in the WWE. But on August 7th, 2022, Jonah took on Okada in the G1. And guess who won that match? Jonah. And it was a phenomenal match. And for the better part of that, for the rest of that year, he would face Okada in a bunch of tag matches, part of the Burning Spirit tag event, going back and forth. And he fought Okada a number of times, and finally his last match with Okada was October 10th, 2022, in a losing effort, but he's got many wins, and man, that's a notch on your cap if I ever thought there would be one. Number 3, Deonna Purrazzo versus Rok-C. Now, you may not know this, but the young lady known as Roxanne Perez is a former Ring of Honor Women's Champion. She is what we like to call the Prodigy. And she fought Deonna Purrazzo, who was the current, who was at that time the Knockouts champion, and Deonna was on a roll. She was I believe she was the AAA Reina de Reinas champion as well, and she ended up defeating Rok-C twice. She defeated her for the Impact Knockout Championship, retaining her. Then she defeated Rok-C for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship, becoming a triple champion. This was really good. It was really fun, and Deonna had elevated herself, and Rok-C, while young, you saw that she had it. She's got the talent, and you know how much I love women's wrestling. This was such a fantastic match, and boy, their second match eclipsed their first match, and the future is just bright, especially for Roxanne, and we know what Deonna has been putting forth. Number 2, Kenny Omega, the Belt Hunter. Who can remember during the pandemic Kenny Omega just having all of these championships, just having a bunch of championships? He was the AAA champion, he was the AEW World Champion, he was the Impact World Champion. And what he did here with the Good Brothers, with the Don Callis, look how much time changes. He helped get eyeballs on Impact Wrestling, taking on Rich Swann, who was having this really, really amazing run as champion. He was putting on some excellent work, and being able to go one-on-one with Rich Swann to win the championship was great. Then Kenny lost the championship to Christian Cage. They headlined a pay-per-view. I believe they headlined All Out. And then on an episode of Rampage, Christian defeated Kenny for the championship. Kenny Omega, just one of the GOATs. And number 1, for me, this is important, Mickie James in the Royal Rumble as the Knockouts champion. Listen, I was watching SmackDown, right? And when this was announced, I'm like, this is a mistake. I'm like, Mickie James in the Royal Rumble. She's like, I'm back wrestling right now. I'm like, this is wrong. Went online. Oh, snap. Mickie James is going to be in the Royal Rumble. And, of course, her countdown comes, and all you hear is Hardcore Country. And here's Mickie James, the Knockouts champion, in the Royal Rumble. She got her revenge on Michelle McCool. She was excellent. She was awesome. It was a thing of beauty. It was a true thing of beauty, and I was very, very happy to see Mickie James not only get treated better than she did before, but help bring more eyeballs onto Impact. Listen, I'm going to keep this short. I'm going to keep this sweet. Christian Cage has been a big part of Impact Wrestling's history. You could probably make a case for him to be on the Mount Rushmore of Impact Wrestling. He has done a lot for the company, and since we're talking about the Forbidden Door, he main evented, I want to say, All Out against Kenny Omega. And at the time, he was new in AEW, and earlier, only a few weeks before, he had just defeated Kenny for the Impact World Championship. And it was a good way, this was during the pandemic, it was a good way to get Kenny Omega a loss and keep Kenny strong, and it was great. It was actually pretty awesome, and that part of the Forbidden Door, so Kenny could focus, on AEW, and Christian could now focus on Impact, and it just worked. It just helped. And now Christian Cage is doing this thing once again, and it's great to have such an important part of wrestling history. What is the Forbidden Door? The Forbidden Door is a term in professional wrestling when one wrestler of another promotion comes to another promotion that's not there. So think actually currently right now with AEW and the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, their crossover show with New Japan. It's a fun thing, and it's fun to even have the fantasy booking, because we would love to, see AEW versus WWE, Ring of Honor versus MLW, so on and so forth. And I love it. I'm going to the New Japan Impact Wrestling show tonight, or I'm going. So where did it start kind of for me with Impact? Well, it started with, I believe, when Moose took on Okada. You had an Impact wrestler versus a New Japan wrestler at a Ring of Honor show. Wild, right? We even had something more recently with Ric Flair's retirement match. That was AEW, WWE, Impact, Ring of Honor, AAA, New Japan. That was a real Forbidden Door right there. But it's great, and it's great that Impact is able to do something like this. They've been the true Forbidden Door. I don't know how you could tell me any differently. They've worked with New Japan. They've worked with Ring of Honor. They've worked with AEW. They've worked with AAA. Pretty sure they've worked with CMLL, and they've worked with the WWE. They're the little company that could. They just keep chugging along, and nothing's stopping them. For me, I think that Impact is the one company out of, the major ones. So let's say the major ones are WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, AAA, Impact. Let's say those are the major companies we have, right? They, and by they I mean Impact, would benefit the most from it, because you get way more creative freedom in Impact Wrestling. Let's point to the Honor No More storyline in stable. So, the Honor No More stable consisted of the Kingdom, the team of Vincent and, I guess it was just Vincent actually. I'm sorry, the Righteous with Vincent, the Kingdom, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, Miri Kanellis, PCO, Kenny King, and then Eddie Edwards, who turned on Impact. I enjoy the Honor No More stable storyline so much, because it was a way to get eyeballs back on Ring of Honor after we heard about Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor. And Matt Taven, former Ring of Honor champion, Mike Bennett, Marie Kanellis, people that have been integral to the history of Ring of Honor. PCO, former Ring of Honor champion, Kenny King, Vincent, another person integral to Ring of Honor. And this is how you truly do a storyline that involves an invasion, because they came to Impact and they wrecked havoc. So after Ring of Honor went on its hiatus with after Final Battle, everybody got released and the company would be reimagined and be fan focused. And at Hard to Kill, Eddie Edwards, Rich Swann, Willie Mack, Heath the Rhino were attacked by Honor No More. And it just snowballed into that. And they were causing damage, and they were winning championships, and they were taking out everybody. Then they had a whole Honor No More versus Impact storyline, and it just worked. They had the whole match, and it just worked. Now, if you look at those people now, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, Maria Vincent are all in AEW now. PCO, Kenny King, and Eddie Edwards are still in it, but it worked and it helped elevate those people. So the Forbidden Door worked in that instance. Now, I will admit that the women really haven't been so lucky, because really the only two women that truly got to benefit from the Forbidden Door at the time Impact was really employing it was, to a lesser extent, Deonna Purrazzo, because he was the AAA Reign champion. But number one was Taya Valkyrie, who made her bones in Mexico. She just performed at another AAA event. The AAA and AEW are finally back on good terms. But the women really haven't been so lucky. So when Kenny Omega was doing his belt hunter collector gimmick, right? That's great. Kenny King goes to AEW, goes to Impact, but nothing with the women, Jordan Grace and Mickie James, who are on just collective roles at that point. You couldn't bring them over to AEW. You couldn't help elevate those respective divisions. Because I'll tell you right now, that AEW Women's Division could have really benefited from a collaboration with the Impact Knockouts. Because don't let anybody tell you any differently when it comes to the true women's revolution in professional wrestling. It starts and ends with the Impact Knockouts division. It starts and ends there. And yes, Impact got thrown a bone with Mickie James in the Royal Rumble, which I, again, absolutely love. But I wish we got more. You know what I mean? And we'll dive into that some more. So, like tonight, we have the Multiverse United show. Multiverse United is, I guess you can call it New Japan and Impact's annual crossover show, and it's got a solid card. But again, there's only one women's match on there, and it's a fatal 4-way. So we couldn't even get two women's matches. So if we go to last year's, the first Multiverse United, we had one women's match on there, and guess what? It was another fatal 4-way. That I wasn't really happy with. Of course, we got the multi-man matches, and for me, I'll be honest with you. Listen, don't let anybody listen. I'll be honest with you. Come here. I actually think last year's card is better than this year's card. I think last year's card is awesome, but I'm going to enjoy this year's show because I'm there, so it's going to be awesome. So here we are with the Forbidden Door, and we have Multiverse United, and it's something that I think Impact can use to grow more and more and more and more, because we are going to have some really good matches. In our main event, Tanahashi's main event again. He's taking on Alex Shelley for the Impact World Championship. We got a 12-man tag. We got a women's championship matches. We got some stuff going on. So Impact knows what they're doing. They know how to get you invested and involved. Now, generally, what I actually would love to see with Impact and their True Forbidden Door, I would love to see more crossover with Ring of Honor. The one thing that kind of hurts Ring of Honor is that they put on good matches every week, but it's always match with very little story development. And I think just crossing over with Impact once a year would help. Ring of Honor World Champion versus the Impact World Champion. The Ring of Honor Women's Champion versus the Knockouts Champion. The Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions versus the Impact Tag Team Champions. And we can get a good card going. You don't even have to make a storyline wise. You can make it just a charity event, kind of like Fight for the Fallen. Another thing that I would love for Impact to do, and I've been shouting at this for a long time. I think it's time for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships to be defended in other promotions. The thing that I truly don't like about the Knockouts division is that when it comes to the tag teams, this is the same thing issue that they have, is that the champions are almost always teams thrown together and never really true teams. It's rare that the teams come together and end up being good. Like the current Knockouts tag team champions are MK Ultra, Killer Kelly, and Masha Slamovich. Their team came out of them just mutual respect of them beating the hell out of each other. But Ring of Honor has women. They have a tag team right there in the Renegades. You have Sky Blue, you have Willow, you have Athena and Trish Adora and Billy Starks. That would help, because the more eyes you can get on them, the better. I would also like to see a crossover with Stardom. Stardom needs just a little bit of help. And for me, the one thing that truly hurts Stardom and their affiliation with New Japan is there are 3 different women's champions. There's the Stardom champion, there's the IWGP Women's Champion, and there's the New Japan Strong Women's Champion. That's a lot. But then you get the Strong division, you know what I mean. Getting more eyes on Stardom and getting more eyes on the Joshi would help. Bringing them over would help. And lastly, using Impact to kind of elevate other companies. I would love to see Impact work with MLW. Somehow, someway, MLW is still here, and they're still chugging along, and they're still putting on shows. That right there is odd, because we know the name Impact. And here's what's also crazy is the fact that MLW records their shows in the ECW arena. That's where the show is tonight. That's where Multiverse United is tonight. So I can see Impact working with these folks. It wouldn't hurt. I can tell you that. It definitely wouldn't hurt. But that's our show. It's a nice abbreviated show. I'm sorry, technical difficulties, but I'm still thankful for you all for listening. I really do appreciate it. Next week we'll have our all-in preview. I think we'll make that the Filthy Casual crossover. Howard's Wrestling Podcast, Filthy Casual. Put those two together. Because then we got All Out in 2 weeks as well. So check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, the 215 on Twitter, spelled out. Coffee, Patreon, greatly appreciate you all. And as always, you know. Xia Li, Wendy Chu, Shotzi Blackheart, Bailey, Isla Dawn, Willow Nightingale, and Gigi Dolan. I'll at you, boy. Peace.